Hi everyone, this is Dan Paulus, Senior Customer Marketing Manager at HealthStream, and I recently had an opportunity to talk with Kevin O'Hara, our Senior Vice President of Platform Solutions here at HealthStream, about interoperability. He had some fascinating insights to share. Okay, Kevin, I want to drill down a little bit on this singular use case kind of thing, and we talk about the analogy, or what comes to mind for me is kind of LinkedIn as a profile. Is that relevant to what we're talking about? Similar, but maybe a little different? That's more job hunting behavior, right? But we're trying to do something a little different, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about wanting to pull together a portfolio of everything you've done over time and tell a story about it, which is a lot of what LinkedIn is about as well, we're doing that. And so the key to that is starting with this unique identifier and then being able to plug that into many systems. The difference with LinkedIn is if you imagine that LinkedIn automatically did that for you. So imagine if LinkedIn was plugged into your HR system and your competency system and other systems and can pull all that data for you together. That's what we're doing. And so you see that in healthcare, it's a little bit different. You know, you've got most of the people that work in healthcare have a professional license. And that professional license needs to be kept up to date. There's continuing education you need. Those professional licenses are maintained, the records around those are maintained by state boards, and we're able to go out and collect what's called primary source verification data about those licenses. And so that's different than LinkedIn as well, because LinkedIn is sort of my story about myself. Yeah. What we're doing is pulling together a fully validated story about you, which is important both because of the regulatory environment for healthcare and because these things they're just different. It's different to say that I've got a license, I've got a certification, and then people want to know that those are accurate. There are people who work in hospitals whose entire job is calling up or going to the websites of state boards of nursing, of state boards of occupational therapy, and verifying people's licenses. And we've heard from them the automation that we bring to that. What it does is it frees them up to do higher level work. So no one wants to be going and calling these folks and finding this out. We do that automatically. We have APIs in the background that go call on that, and we offer that to our customers. We offer it in systems where it doesn't normally happen, like a learning management system. What that allows someone who's working in the hospital to do, who's already doing 4 jobs, and that's only one of them, is to kind of move up the ladder and do other work. And so was talking to someone at a hospital the other day. They spent probably half their day doing this type of work. And then the other half of the day was on the type of work that had to do with, how do we help Dan develop his career? They're able to shift all of that work they were doing on the mundane things of going to websites and making phone calls and now moving that to, organizational and talent development. And so that's really powerful for us.
Yeah, so I'm kind of hearing automated, validated profile in some ways, right? If that's
Correct.
A really short way to say, okay,
Yep.
Excellent. That's super helpful, and I can see how that would make so many people's lives so much easier. I want you to talk a little bit more about maybe an anecdotal story of what this looks like when it's working well. Like, do we have a customer we've partnered with or started to partner with on the developer portal that is seeing these systems start to talk to each other and making the CEO's life and the leadership's lives easier because they've got the data in front of them now and they're connecting the dots?
Yeah, I mean, we have started to see some great work using our APIs to work what we do into the regular workflow in a hospital. So one example of that would be a new hire is made. In the past, you would have to wait to do a file upload to get that person in our system, or someone would need to go key them in. That HR system can automatically call our system and create that user in our system, so they're up and running right away. Often, as part of the onboarding process, that person is then automatically assigned courses that they need to take so that they can use the badging system, for instance. So you don't really think about this, but on day one, I need to go in and badge myself in or get into the time and attendance system. We have customers that will not allow someone to get their badge until they've taken that training. Okay. More critically, they often won't let them get on a shift until they've trained on the EHR. And so if you think about that, we now have integrations in our system that will automatically queue our system and say, or call our system and say, has Dan completed his time and attendance training? If yes, activate his badge. Has Dan completed his EHR training? If yes, activate his ability to get put on a shift. those things would have required someone in the hospital to be making phone calls, to be going in and running reports. All of that now just churns along in the background and makes that happen. And so that is real interoperability between systems, because now you're talking about 3 or 4 systems that all have to talk to each other, and it doesn't require anybody to go type in any information, to pull any reports. It all just happens in the background. And now you've made it much more efficient for someone to get up and running, to get onboarded at a facility. And so some of the largest health systems in the country have had those challenges, and now they've resolved those challenges in working with us and working with our APIs, accessing those through the developer portal. So that's very exciting for everybody involved.
Yeah, and there's safety and compliance issues at the core of this too, right? To your point of people need to be trained before they get access to be on the floor, right?
Exactly.
So this is fascinating stuff.
And from a developer standpoint, just to be clear, it's not only courses that exist in our system, but we have third-party partners whose education doesn't even run on our learning management system, who are now also able to enter activity onto this transcript. And so one of the things that our customers see HealthStream as is this universal transcript across everything that happens with respect to learning and development. And that has been realized because third-party partners who might have a mobile learning application can also put completions or activity on their applications directly into the HealthStream system, which can again trigger some of this behavior. So one of the largest health systems in the country is working with us on a rollout of their new EHR system, and that's being done through multiple different modes of education, including some third-party applications that do not run directly within our learning management system, but run on our platform and in our ecosystem more broadly construed. And so it's very exciting to see all these points of data coming together.
Very exciting, like really improving the quality of healthcare, I think, when we talk about it, which we're all about doing here, right?
Correct.
All right. Okay, thanks a lot, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.